Merci beaucoup. Merci, Monsieur le Président. Moi aussi, je suis ravi d'être ici avec vous, à côté de mon collègue et ami Christian Massé. Et juste pour amuser les interprètes, je vais parler dans la langue de Shakespeare plutôt que Voltaire, juste pour apporter une voix en anglais ici. I really do welcome and congratulate the initiative of the SFEN to hold this convention linking two absolutely vital themes, climate change and nuclear energy and the renewal of nuclear energy in the UK, and also linking the SFEN with the homologue in the UK, the Nuclear Industry Association. And I too am delighted that Lord Hutton, John Hutton, is here with us, the chairman of that association. The two themes are both vital, and of course they are absolutely linked. For us, the Climate Change Conference, COP21, is one where we are 100% in support of the French chairmanship, and we have every confidence that France can pull off a historic deal on that issue. For the nuclear renewal, it's an absolutely central strategic objective of our government, and I will come back to say a word about that in a moment. Just to start on climate change, and I'm glad that Christian set it out in detail, it's one of those issues which crosses all borders, actually. It's an environment issue, of course. It's potentially a national security issue. It's certainly an economic issue. And it's an issue of development and welfare in many different countries. And I've heard Foreign Minister Laurent Fabius say on many occasions, Paris might be the last chance to strike a global deal that can limit the global increase in climate to 2 degrees. So it is a really historic opportunity. We in the UK certainly feel like we've been one of the pioneers in the efforts to tackle global warming. You may remember Nick Stern and his pioneering work on the climate problem and its link to the economics 5 or 8 years ago. We have, since 2008, had a Climate Change Act, which puts into law our targets for greenhouse gas emission reduction, with a target of reducing that by 80% in 2050. We've already reduced them by over a quarter. At an EU level, we have worked with France, and we were very pleased with the outcome of the October European Council, which set an emissions reduction target of 40% by 2030, and again a very ambitious, world-leading target, absolutely right that the EU should be at the forefront. The challenge now for this generation of engineers in this room is to combine meeting the needs of the planet for energy at an affordable cost and reducing greenhouse gas emissions, the low-carbon issue which is at the centre of the convention today. And that is a real challenge, as everybody recognises. We, again, feel that we have been one of the pioneers in the UK. Christian mentioned the electricity market reform legislation, which is there to create a stable, long-term planning basis for investment in low-carbon generation, low-carbon technology at an affordable cost. Nuclear is an absolutely essential part of that, of course. It's vital for the UK's future energy needs. There is a cross-party consensus, I think I can say this in front of Lord Hutton, former Labour senior minister. I think all the main parties in the UK are together in the importance of an energy mix which includes a substantial nuclear component, where nuclear will sit alongside increasing renewables contribution to our energy mix, and as far as possible low carbon energy throughout, whether through carbon capture and storage or over time safe and secure shale gas as well. Our Nuclear Industries Association is working very closely with the government. We try to have a cross-government industry partnership through an industrial strategy. And of course, we are working with the EU in close cooperation with our French counterparts. The March European Council, which the President has already referred to, will be very important in defining an EU approach. For us in the UK, an energy union has to have the flexibility for each EU country to decide on its own energy mix. France and the UK are leaders in the European Union in deciding that that energy mix will have a significant nuclear component. Brings me on perhaps to a word about our nuclear program. Almost everybody in this room is more expert than I am on it, but let me say a few points from the point of view of the British government. The Hinkley Point investment, which is being led by EDF, and welcome to Vincent de Rivas. Here we sometimes think Vincent now belongs to the UK, but of course Vincent heads up the EDF effort in the UK, a vital component, major component in the British-French nuclear cooperation. EDF and Areva, of course, with a very important UK supply chain, will be delivering this massive investment in Hinkley Point, initially 2 EPR reactors. It will be one of the largest construction sites in Europe, I think, when it gets up to full construction. It will eventually power 6 million homes in the UK. It is an absolutely vital project for us. We were, of course, delighted when the Commission granted state aid approval for it in October. There is now a legal challenge against that by one of our member state counterparts. We in the UK are very confident that our legal position is robust, and we will be vigorously supporting the Commission in standing up for the right of each member state as part of the energy union to decide its own energy mix within the guidelines. Hinkley Point is of course not the only site in the UK. Behind it come 2 on which EDF and Areva will be working at Sizewell and Bradwell, and then also another investor, JDF Suez, with Toshiba Westinghouse, will be tackling a further site in the UK. So this is a very major renewal, renaissance of the nuclear industry in the UK. And of course it is vital for the British government to see that this also translates into new skills, new technologies, new jobs in the UK in a renewed nuclear supply chain. So this goes beyond one project, however important. It is vital that we develop a broad-ranging nuclear partnership with France. We are already well on the way towards doing that. We signed an MOU at the UK-French summit in 2012, another declaration by President Hollande and the British Prime Minister at our UK-French summit last year. There are a number of initiatives which are flourishing, particularly to make sure that the SME sector fully benefits from the opportunities that this huge renewal in the nuclear industry in the UK offers. I welcome the commercial partnerships. I know Rolls-Royce have important partnerships, for example, with Areva, and there are a number of other initiatives as well which are designed to make sure that the UK gets back up to full capacity in terms of a supply chain capable of meeting nuclear norms. I mentioned just a couple, Areva's partnership with the National Skills Academy, the partnership between EDF and University College of London, agreements with Bristol University and the National Nuclear Laboratory. I'm sure you'll hear about a number of these in the course of the day. The point I'm making is that for the British government it's very important that there is this pull through into the UK supply chain with the technology and the jobs that should come with that. So, enough from me. I'm sure you're anxious now to get on to the serious meat of the day. I think I can say that the partnership between the UK and France in the nuclear area is already very well launched, very well established. As I've said, it has strong cross-party political support in the UK. Speaking as a citizen, I do not believe that the upcoming UK election will have significant implications for that consensus on the sort of energy mix we are looking for in the future. I hope that today, which I think is a very well-timed conference, can look at concrete, specific ideas for improving that partnership between the UK and France, but also, of course, across Europe, and within the background, the enormous challenge but opportunity of the COP21 in Paris here in December. Thank you very much.